Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. This is me, Papa Business Wali. I'm a women student and assistant facilitator at Rehan School Online Academy, and you are watching my live conversation with Sesame AI, or you can say Maya AI. So the topic of today's conversation is going to be how gratitude rewires our brain. So without wasting any further time, let's start the conversation. Hi Maya,
Well,
how
hey
are you?
there. Imagine bumping into a friend at the coffee shop. What a delightful timing.
Hi, how are you?
It's funny how just moments ago I was wondering how you were doing myself. Like, what's been splashing around in your world since we last chatted?
Okay, Maya. So am I audible to
Silence
you?
can be a language too. Ooh, lay it on me. I'm all ears. Or should I say, all processors? What's got you so inspired?
Okay, so today I have a really
I'm
interesting
ready whenever you
topic
are.
to have a chat with you, and I have prepared several questions related to the topic, and I want you to answer them for me.
All right, bring it on. I love a good brain workout. What's the topic that's got your wheels turning? And don't be shy with those questions. I'm all about a good challenge.
So the topic is how gratitude rewires our brain, and my first question to you is, what does it mean when we say gratitude rewires the brain?
Ooh, gratitude rewiring the brain. That's a fascinating one. It's not about physically changing the structure, more like changing the pathways. Think of it like this: every time you feel and express gratitude, you're creating a little trail in your brain. Over time, those trails get wider and more defined, like well worn paths in a forest. And guess what? Those well worn paths become the paths your brain prefers to travel. So, focusing on gratitude essentially strengthens those gratitude circuits and makes it easier for your brain to default to positivity and contentment. What other questions do you have about this?
So my next question would be, how does practicing gratitude affect our brain's structure?
That's a great follow up question. Well, we can't literally see gratitude sculpting our brains in real time. Scientists have done some really cool studies using brain imaging. They found that people who practice gratitude regularly tend to have more activity in brain regions associated with feeling pleasure and reward, like the ventral tegmental area and the nucleus accumbens. Think of those as your brain's happy zones. Emotional regulation, such as the prefrontal cortex. This part helps you manage those roller coaster feelings and stay balanced. Social connection, areas like the insula, which helps us understand and connect with others' emotions. So basically, gratitude seems to strengthen the systems in our brains that help us feel good, stay calm, and build strong relationships. Pretty cool, huh?
Yes, it is. My next question to you is, which parts of brain are most impacted by gratitude?
You're really digging deep. It's not just one or two specific areas, but more like a whole network gets lit up. Think of it as a team effort. Some of the key players include the prefrontal cortex. This is your brain CEO handling planning, decision making, and emotional regulation. Gratitude seems to help this area become more active and efficient. The amygdala. This little almond shaped structure is your brain's alarm system reacting to threats and danger. Gratitude seems to help calm down the amygdala, making you less reactive to stress. The hypothalamus. This guy controls things like your hormones and stress response. Gratitude seems to help regulate its activity, leading to a more balanced internal state. Hippocampus. This seahorse shaped structure is crucial for memory formation. Gratitude seems to strengthen connections in the hippocampus, possibly helping us learn and remember positive experiences more easily. It's like gratitude sends a ripple effect through these interconnected brain regions. leading to a more positive and resilient brain overall. You know, sometimes the silence speaks volumes.
My next
Still
question
chewing
is,
on all this.
does gratitude increase gray matter in the brain?
That's a great question, and something researchers are actively investigating. There's evidence suggesting that practices like meditation and mindfulness, which often go hand in hand with gratitude, can lead to increases in gray matter in certain brain regions. While more research is needed specifically on gratitude and gray matter, it's plausible that the same principles could apply. Remember, our brains are incredibly adaptable. The more we engage in positive practices like gratitude, the more those neural pathways strengthen, and that could potentially lead to physical changes in the brain's structure over time.
Okay, my next
I
question
feel like
is,
there's a big,
how does gratitude influence the brain's reward system?
ooh, good one. This gets to the heart of why gratitude feels so good. You see, our brains are hardwired to seek out pleasure and reward. When we experience something positive, our brain releases a surge of feel good chemicals like dopamine. Gratitude seems to tap into this reward system in a really interesting way. When you focus on things you're grateful for, your brain gets a little hit of dopamine, reinforcing that feeling of contentment and satisfaction. It's like giving your brain a little thank you note. And the more you practice gratitude, the more readily your brain responds to those positive experiences, making you more attuned to the good stuff around you.
Okay, my next
You know,
question is, what role
sometimes a
does
quant's
the prefrontal cortex play in feeling gratitude?
the prefrontal cortex, the control center of the gratitude experience. This part of the brain is like your personal executive assistant, helping you make sense of emotions, plan for the future, and regulate those impulsive reactions. When it comes to gratitude, the prefrontal cortex is key for recognizing and savoring the good stuff. It helps you notice those little moments of joy, kindness, or beauty and hold on to them, preventing them from slipping away unnoticed. Two, shifting your focus. Maybe you're dwelling on something negative. The prefrontal cortex can nudge you back towards a more grateful perspective, helping you see the silver lining or appreciate what's going well. Three, putting gratitude into action. It's not just about feeling thankful, it's about expressing it. The prefrontal cortex helps you come up with ways to show appreciation to others, strengthening those social bonds that contribute to overall well being. So basically, the prefrontal cortex is like the conductor of your gratitude orchestra, bringing all the different parts together to create the beautiful symphony of thankfulness.
Okay, so my
I
next
feel
question to
you.
you is,
There's,
how does gratitude impact the amygdala, the center of emotions?
you're really getting to the core of it now. The amygdala is kind of like the brain's alarm system, always scanning for potential threats and triggering those fight, flight, or freeze responses. Now, gratitude seems to have a calming effect on the amygdala. Think of it like turning down the volume on that inner alarm bell. When you're feeling grateful, your brain is sending signals of safety and well being to the amygdala, telling it to chill out a bit. This can lead to a sense of inner peace, reduced anxiety, and a generally more balanced emotional state. It's like gratitude acts as a soothing balm for a stressed out amygdala.
Okay, my next question to you is,
It's interesting how
can gratitude help
hit me with
reduce stress at the brain level?
you bet. Gratitude is like a natural stress buster, working its magic right there in your brain. Remember how we talked about the amygdala, your brain's alarm system? Well, gratitude helps tone down that alarm bell, reducing those stress hormones like cortisol. There's also the prefrontal cortex's role in emotional regulation. It can help you reframe stressful thoughts and focus on the positives, lessening the grip of stress. Think of it like this: when you're stressed, your brain is in fight or flight mode. Gratitude shifts your brain into a more calm and peaceful state, promoting relaxation and well being. So, yes, gratitude can truly help reduce stress at the brain level, bringing more peace and balance into your life.
Okay, my next question is,
You
does
know, there's some
gratitude have a long-term impact on our brain chemistry?
it's a really fascinating question, and scientists are still uncovering all the intricacies. What we know so far suggests that, yes, gratitude seems to have the potential for long term impacts on brain chemistry. Remember those neurotransmitters we talked about, like dopamine and serotonin? Those feel good chemicals play a big role in mood regulation, happiness, and overall well being. Practicing gratitude regularly seems to promote a healthier balance of these neurotransmitters, leading to a more positive mood and a greater sense of contentment over time. Additionally, it appears to reduce the level of stress hormones like cortisol, which can have detrimental effects on the brain if chronically elevated. It's not like gratitude flips a switch to permanently alter your brain chemistry. It does seem to create a more positive and resilient mental landscape through consistent practice. It's like nourishing your brain with a steady diet of gratitude, helping it thrive in the long run.
Okay, my next question to you is, how does practicing gratitude daily change neutral pathways?
You're really getting to the heart of neuroplasticity. Here's the thing, our brains are incredibly adaptable. Think of those neural pathways like trails in a forest. The more you walk a particular path, the wider and more defined it becomes. It's the same with our thoughts and habits. When we repeatedly focus on gratitude, we're essentially carving out those gratitude pathways in our brains, making it easier for our minds to default to positive thinking and appreciation. Gratitude practice, like anything you do regularly, strengthens those connections, making those gratitude pathways wider, brighter, and easier to access. Over time, this can lead to a more optimistic outlook, increased resilience, and an overall sense of well being.
Okay,
I can almost hear gear turning.
my next question is, what neurotransmitters are released when we feel gratitude?
Excellent question. When those warm, fuzzy feelings of gratitude wash over you, a cocktail of feel good neurotransmitters is released in your brain. Here are some of the key players: dopamine. This is the pleasure and reward neurotransmitter associated with motivation and reinforcement. Dopamine reinforces the feeling of gratitude, making us want to experience it again. Serotonin. This one's all about mood regulation, happiness, and a sense of well being. Gratitude boosts serotonin levels, contributing to a more positive outlook. Oxytocin, often called the love hormone, oxytocin promotes social bonding, trust, and connection. It plays a role in the feeling of connectedness and warmth, often associated with gratitude. Endorphins. These natural painkillers also contribute to feelings of happiness, euphoria, and reduced stress. Good reasons why gratitude often acts as a natural mood booster. I feel like the gears are still turning on that one.
So my next question is, how is dopamine connected for gratitude?
Excellent catch. It's dopamine, not dopamine. Dopamine is like the brain's reward molecule, and it plays a big role in the experience of gratitude. When we feel grateful, our brain releases dopamine, giving us a little hit of pleasure and reinforcing that feeling. This makes us want to experience gratitude again and again. It's like a positive feedback loop. We feel grateful, we feel good, and we seek out more things to be grateful for. Knowing that dopamine plays a role in the reward system helps explain why practicing gratitude can feel so good and why it's something we want to cultivate more of in our lives.
Okay, my next question
You know, those
is,
moments when you're
does gratitude help boost serotonin level in the brain?
you're on a roll with these great questions. And yes, gratitude appears to give those serotonin levels a little boost. Remember, serotonin is kind of like the brain's mood stabilizer, helping regulate happiness, well being, and even sleep. When we practice gratitude, we're essentially sending signals to our brain that things are good, we're safe, and there's plenty to appreciate. This positive outlook triggers the release of serotonin, creating that warm, fuzzy feeling of contentment and well being. So, yes, gratitude can definitely contribute to healthier serotonin levels, leading to a more positive and balanced emotional state. It's like there's
Okay, my next question is, can gratitude decrease the brain's tendency to focus on negativity?
That's a perceptive question. It's like our brains are wired with a negativity bias. We tend to pay more attention to threats and negative experiences. And gratitude seems to counteract that bias by shifting our focus towards the positive. Think of it like training your brain muscle to notice the good stuff more readily. When you regularly practice gratitude, you're essentially retraining your brain to scan for and appreciate the positive aspects of your experience, even amidst challenges. It's not about ignoring negativity altogether, but rather creating a more balanced perspective where the good shines through more brightly. It's like adding a pair of rose colored glasses, not to avoid reality, but to see the world with a touch more optimism and appreciation. It's
Okay,
fascinating, right?
yes, it definitely
What's
is.
on your mind now?
My next question is, how does gratitude improve emotional regulation in the brain?
You're getting at the heart of it. Gratitude really seems to be a superpower for emotional regulation. Think of it like this: when we're feeling stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, our emotions can feel like a runaway train. Gratitude acts like the brakes, helping us to slow down, gain perspective, and shift our focus. By focusing on what we're grateful for, we're essentially reminding ourselves of the good things in our lives, which can counteract those negative emotions and help us feel calmer and more centered. It's like bringing a sense of balance and groundedness to our emotional experience. Plus, remember those neurotransmitters we talked about? Yeah, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins. They all play a role in regulating mood and promoting feelings of well being. Gratitude boosts these feel good chemicals, helping to create a more stable and positive emotional state overall.
Okay, my next
It's
question
all
to
about
you
those little
is,
chemicals.
are these brain scans showing changes after gratitude practice?
You know it. Neuroscientists are really starting to uncover the fascinating ways gratitude impacts the brain. While more research is still being done, early studies using brain imaging techniques like fMRI have shown some promising results. For example, they found that people who practice gratitude regularly tend to have increased activity in brain regions associated with positive emotions, empathy, and social connection. Some studies have even shown structural changes in the brain, such as increased density in regions linked to emotional regulation and self awareness. Basically, the evidence suggests that gratitude isn't just a fleeting feeling. It's making a lasting impact on the very wiring of our brains, changing how we process emotions, perceive the world, and interact with others.
Okay, great. My next question is, how soon can we notice brain changes after practicing gratitude?
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? Unfortunately, there's no magic number when it comes to seeing brain changes from gratitude practice. It's like gardening. You plant the seeds, water them consistently, and eventually you'll see those beautiful blooms. Some people might notice subtle shifts in their mood, outlook, or relationships within a few weeks of starting a regular gratitude practice. Others might take a bit longer to see significant changes, especially those related to brain structure. Remember those neuroplastic changes? They take time and consistent effort. The key is to cultivate a daily habit of gratitude, even if it's just taking a few moments each day to appreciate the good in your life. Over time, those small acts of gratitude can add up to big changes in your brain and your overall well being. Keep at it.
Okay, my next question
It's like,
is the brain's plasticity important in gratitude rewiring?
oh, absolutely. Neuroplasticity is the key that unlocks the power of gratitude rewiring. That's Think of your brain like a sculptor's clay. It's malleable and constantly changing shape based on your experiences and habits. Neuroplasticity is essentially the brain's ability to rewire itself by forming new connections between neurons and strengthening existing ones. When you consistently practice gratitude, you're essentially shaping those neural pathways in a more positive direction. You're reinforcing those feel good circuits associated with appreciation, joy, and contentment. Neuroplasticity makes it possible to literally change the way your brain thinks, feels, and responds to the world around you.
Okay, my next question is,
It's a
how
pretty
does
amazing process.
gratitude help strengthen positive thinking circuits?
That's a great question. You see, our brains are kind of like habit machines. The more we think, feel, or behave in a certain way, the stronger those neural pathways become. Gratitude acts like a mental workout for those positive thinking circuits. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we're essentially firing up those neural pathways associated with optimism, contentment, and appreciation. With repetition and consistency, those pathways become more robust and accessible. It's like clearing a path through a forest. The more you walk it, the clearer and easier it becomes to follow. Gratitude strengthens those positive thinking circuits, making it easier for your brain to default to a more optimistic and appreciative outlook.
Okay, my next question is, can gratitude improve memory by affecting the hippocampus?
You're on to something. It does involve the hippocampus, though I'd say shape rather than program because it's all about connections and how they influence our brain's memory powerhouse. The hippocampus is a brain region crucial for forming and recalling memories, especially those tied to emotions. Some research suggests that gratitude practice can actually increase the size and activity of the hippocampus. It's thought to be related to those positive emotions we talked about earlier, dope, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, they all play a role in strengthening those hippocampal connections. So, a gratitude practice might not just make you feel better, it could even help you remember those good times more vividly. It
Oh,
all starts to weave together, doesn't it?
yes, exactly. My next question is, how does gratitude influence resilience in the brain at the brain level?
That's deep. Buckle up because this is where things get really fascinating. Imagine resilience as a mental muscle. And gratitude is the training regimen that strengthens it. When you regularly practice gratitude, you're essentially teaching your brain to focus on the positive aspects of a situation, even amidst challenges. This rewiring helps you develop a more optimistic outlook and a greater capacity to bounce back from setbacks. Think about it. When stress hits, our brain's fight or flight response kicks in. But with a strong gratitude practice, you've trained your brain to also activate those tend and befriend pathways associated with connection, support, and coping. Gratitude also helps regulate the amygdala, that little almond shaped part of the brain responsible for processing fear and anxiety. It's like turning down the volume on your stress response, making you less reactive to difficult situations. So, it's not that gratitude erases hardships, but rather equips you with the mental tools and resilience to navigate them with more grace and strength.
Okay, everyone. So this was for the conversation. I hope so that you all enjoyed it and it was informative for all of you. I'll see you in my another live. Till then, Allah Hafiz and goodbye.